We remember with profound gratitude and admiration Israel's generosity and solidarity when it gave the emerging Kenyan state in 1963 an emphatic vote of confidence. 2 days before our independence, the State of Israel dispatched Madam Golda Meir, the foreign minister, who joined our prime minister then in laying the foundation stone of your embassy in Nairobi, the first in independent Kenya. That event marked the beginning of a friendship that has steadily grown deeper and stronger, encompassing very successful collaboration in various undertakings across many sectors. Over the past 6 decades of growth and stability in the face of formidable challenges, Kenya has flourished impressively and vindicated Israel's early and emphatic show of faith. So broad is the scope of our cooperation and so numerous the undertakings involved that Kenya and Israel resolved to define the facets of its bilateral relations in several critical instruments, including 22 memorandums of understanding covering many sectors. They include defense, security, disaster management, water resource management, irrigation, agriculture, information, and communication technology. But our dynamic relationship continues to blossom, making it necessary for us to remain constantly vigilant of evolving challenges as well as emerging opportunities. This is the reason why our technical teams are at different stages of negotiating an additional 8 memorandum of understanding to cover bilateral engagements in health, environmental protection, and I was very happy this afternoon to join your environmental body in planting trees, management of maritime affairs and exploitation of blue economy, cybersecurity, as well as avoidance of taxation of earnings, among other areas. The level of bilateral trade and the ease of movement of people and goods between our countries has not been consistent with the totality of our common aspiration. However, I am glad to note that following our discussions today, our countries have signed 2 joint declarations of intent on tourism and environmental protection. I am pleased with the consensus reached today by our 2 countries on establishing direct flights as soon as possible between Nairobi and Tel Aviv. These direct flights will not only facilitate trading relations, but will greatly increase the number of tourists visiting both countries. Many of us coming for pilgrimage, and many of you coming to visit the cradle of mankind. Apart from the irresistible touristic offerings of magical Kenya and the Holy Land, there is an abundance of complementary opportunities between us as a thriving regional and continental hub and gateway to East and Central Africa, and Israel, which is a recognized leader in technological innovation that power heavy industrial and civil engineering, smart agriculture, irrigation, security ICT, and of course, health and medicine. Cybersecurity, particularly, is an important space of cooperation where Kenya can immensely benefit from the Israeli experience and expertise. Mr. President, I also wish to thank you for agreeing during our discussion today on the need to eliminate barriers that have impeded the export of our products into the Israeli market. I am particularly grateful to the Prime Minister, my good friend Bibi, for the assurance he has given today that exports of pineapples will begin early next month from Kenya to Israel. Let me also say that again today we agreed that the impediments and the hurdles that have been on the way that limit the export of our tea, our coffee, our avocados, pineapples, as I have said, will now be removed so that we can expand trade and exports both ways to Israel and your products to Kenya. Kenya has been honored with the tremendous privilege to host the Africa Climate Summit in September. I am confident that our commitment in the field of environmental protection and look forward for your strong support and participation to make the event a memorable success. I was honored early today to join the list of world leaders who have planted trees at the Grove of Nations, Jerusalem Forest. That event has given me new meaning for tree planting, that it is not only a good thing to protect our environment. I was pleased to learn this afternoon that it is also biblical and it is also spiritual. Mr. President, I understand here because for the first time, I found that we have to pray before we plant trees. We've always tried to plant trees in Kenya, and our success has been mixed. I think because we didn't have the element of prayer. So now that we do, I am very confident that we will succeed in our plan to plant 15 billion trees in the next 10 years. Mr. President, I stand here to celebrate a wonderful friendship, which is founded on strong values and mobilized by shared aspirations. To look back upon the undeniable progress we have achieved together during 60 years of friendship, and to consider a futuristic prospect of abounding with the promise of abundant, unbounded possibilities and potential for shared prosperity, all ours for the taking. I now request you, ladies and gentlemen, to join me in raising your glasses to extend the very best wishes to His Excellency President Isaac Herzog for a long life, good health, and to the peace, prosperity, and happiness of the people of the State of Israel, and to the continuation of an excellent relations between the Republic of Kenya and the State of Israel. Abundant blessings. Cheers.
My good friend William, and First Lady Rachel Ruto, Rachel, as we say, Michal and I are delighted to welcome you here today to the Holy Land, to Jerusalem, to Zion, to this land of the Bible and the beating heart of the entire world. The Bible talks about this very city and says, God's word will emanate from Jerusalem. It envisions it as a city of peace, in which the prayers of people from all over the world will be heard, as is said, from my house will be called the house of prayer for all nations. And like Jerusalem, which has inspired humanity, beautiful Kenya has captured the imagination of people throughout the world for as long as history itself. Yes, it is home to some of the most fascinating prehistoric discoveries that answer some of humanity's most pressing questions about its origins, your state, Kenya. But historical developments also put Kenya at powerful cultural and economic intersections of civilizations that have positioned it to broadly influence the unfolding human story. It is therefore not in the slightest bit surprising that one of the first conceptual drafts of Zionism was to opt for a national home for the Jewish people in your land. Of course, it was called the Uganda plan, but it was actually the Kenya plan. And maybe, who knows, we may have been now neighbors together, although absolutely impossible because of our unique connection to this holy land. But still, it clearly highlights the many points of contact and similarity between our peoples. In other words, Mr. President and First Lady, we are more than partners. We are clearly mishpacha, family. So, with your remarkable nation and our incredible nation, we can do so much together, and together your visit makes this option so viable. Let us therefore raise a toast to the deep roots that connect us, to the present that calls to us, and the future that awaits us. And let us say, L'chaim. Salute. Ambassadors.